with me for the first
Okay,
time.
so now, we're going to talk about a natural logarithm today. Hopefully we should be able to get through this fairly quick, and you should be left with time to work on your assignment and finish it. So first of all, natural logarithm is nothing more than a logarithm with base e. So up until this point, we dealt with log, logarithm, okay, with a certain base. This one actually has a specific base. This is e. Now we use the symbol ln to symbolize natural log. So you're going to notice the ln button on your calculator is right below the log button. It's by the number 4. And notice right above it in blue is the e button. So natural log and e, that is how you know they're inverse operations. They share the same button on your calculator as well. So real quick, y equals natural log n. Natural log of x is the inverse of y equals e to the x. So they undo each other. So since they undo each other, let's look at this next statement. Y equals natural log of x if and only if e to the y equals x. So on the left side, I have y equals ln of x. Now we know that e and ln undo each other. So if I raise both sides like that, I end up getting e to the y. On the right side, the e and the ln cancel, and that leaves me with x. Now notice here there is a big thing you need to get down. Natural log only works for positive numbers. Natural log does not work for negative numbers. And if we looked at the graph, so if I asked you to graph right now y equals ln of x, you're going to notice that it looks like, okay, a curve. But one of the things about the curve is that the curve doesn't go past the y-axis. So the negative numbers do not work. So we have some basic properties of natural logarithms. First of all, it says if x is an element of the reals. So basically, if x is any real number, then natural log of 1 is 0. We talked about that with logarithms. That was true as well. Natural log of e is 1. Reason for that? This is a power of 1, and we know that natural log and e cancel each other out, so I'm left with 1 equals 1. Same thing down here. The natural log and the e cancel each other out. So that's going to leave me with just x equals x. And then on the bottom, when you have e to the ln of x equals x, the reason is because these cancel out. Leaves you with x. So real quick, with that in mind, I thought we'd just jump right in.
Why not?
And if you don't know, take a guess. Take a guess. Let's go.
I'll give you a second. One. Done. Bang. No.
Now, just a little tidbit. On your test, I'm going to have a non-calculated portion and a calculated portion. So this would be on the non-calculator portion. This is something that, boom, you should know right away, right now. Okay, I'm looking at it.
Let's go Holtz, Colin, and Amanda.
So let's go ahead and see what we ended up with here.
Hey, Lindsay.
And I think some of you had the benefit of your calculator. It's 0.73 is your answer. The reason why it's 0.73, those are inverse operations. They undo each other. That's your answer.
So people are next to each other. It's just
Okay, so you should have been able to look at that and say, oh, that's 0.73. So let's try this one. Okay? What is this one going to be? Okay, once again, this isn't a real long problem. You should know right away. And let's see what the answer is. The answer is 6. Nice job. Reason why it's 6 is because the e and the ln cancel, and that leaves you with 6. Okay, Okay, next one, natural log of 4. I'll be honest with you, this would have been on the calculator portion of your test.
Oh.
This would be on the calculator portion of your test. Okay, that's fine, we'll see what we ended up having. And notice here, we've got a wide range of answers, okay? The answer actually was, as somebody's already written here, 1.386294361. Generally, I'll have you round that to 2 or 4 decimal places. Okay, so 1.39. Okay, so let's go and look at this one. Two's good. It'll either be 2 or 4.
Oh, they did. Let me do it.
Okay, so had once again a wide range of values. The answer actually I had was 3.47. So anyway, all you're doing there is using your calculator to type in natural log of 32. Do not use your calculator on this one.
Man,
No calculator. I better not see anybody typing it in.
I'm doing it.
Okay? Let's see how you do. Without using your calculator. Without using your calculator, what do you think this is?
You brush it off your boards and measure on the wall. What's today's date? What's the 8th is in the day?
So let's see what we got.
Yeah,
Right. So let's look at this and see how we got that. So first of all, we know that natural log and e cancel each other out. So if I can figure out a way to write this as e to some power, I can just cancel them out. Well, I know that if it's in the denominator, I can move it up to the top by making it negative. Okay, and so as a result, then I just cancel, and I get -3. Okay?
Isn't it still an export though?
No, it's not when they cancel each other out.
It's the,
All right, here you go.
wait, is this a
No calculator.
All
No.
this stuff's-
You got to remember what I said on the very first
What are the answers?
page.
What do you
Yeah,
have
I
to
remember. Figure it out. You've got
Ah.
your expression.
Oh.
Error.
Yes, I used my calculator. Oh, shoot.
I don't actually remember.
I got this.
I'm just gonna guess. Wrong.
Oh, good. Oh, shoot, it sent in something I didn't want to send in. That's funny. That's why I did that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you a few seconds to finish up. And the answer is undefined. Okay?
That's what I was
Now, the only thing is, all of these technically would have probably been correct. The problem is when I do a text, it does a case-sensitive match. Okay? So anyway, the reason why it's undefined is if you remember, you can't take the natural log of a negative number. Remember I said it only works for positives. X had to be greater than 0. Okay, so anyway, undefined. All right, so now the very last 3 problems we're going to look at today, it says find the inverse of. So we're going to go through that whole process we did at the start of the year. It says find the inverse of y equals 5 times the log of 2x. Oh, actually, okay, we skipped one. We'll go back to the other one. What? Go ahead and write this down, and then we're going to go back a slide, and then we're going to have to jump forward. Okay, so first of all, it says find the inverse of y equals 5 times the log of 2x. So very first step whenever I find the inverse, remember, is to switch x and y. Remember, that was the very first step we did. Now, what we need to do is solve for y. So how am I going to solve for y? Divide by 5. So I end up getting 1/5 x equals log of 2x. 2y, sorry. Let's go ahead and change that. Sorry, it should be 2y. Now, what undoes log? 10, because remember, this is the common log, and remember, whenever there's nothing written, it's implied to be 10. And so since that's 10, how I can undo that is I'm going to go ahead and place a 10 as the base, and then the others will be the exponents. So really what I end up getting is 10 to the 1/5 x equals what? 2y. Now, how do I solve for y? Divide by 2. Now, in order to write this, we're going to write this a little different way. I'm going to write this as 1/2 times 10 to the 1/5 x. No, you cannot cancel the 2 and the 10 and make it a 5. Okay, you cannot combine those because this is 10 to the 1/5 x. That's a power. You can't just magically change that and make it 5. So this is your answer. Another way you might see that written, this way, 0.5 times 10 to the 0.2x. And that would be fine as well. Okay, you see where the 0.5 came from and where the 0.2 comes from. Okay, that's an option too. All right, so now, as you said, I skipped a page. So if anybody's watching this, they're probably going to wonder why did we go back, but that's why. So it says find the inverse of y equals e to the 4x. First step, switch signs. So you really get x to equal e to the 4y. Almost. What do you think comes now? ln. Yep, you got to get rid of the e. So I'm going to do ln. Now when I do the ln on the left side, I've got ln of x. On the right side, the ln and the e we know cancel each other out. That leaves me with 4y. My final step will be to do what? Divide by 4. So you will see this written as 1/4 natural log of x. We generally don't put the 4 in the denominator like I did in the step before, reason being sometimes there gets to be some mistakes there. So it just helps to put it as a coefficient in front. Questions? We've got one more and then we're done for today. Oh, skipping. What? Okay, hopefully we'll make it. There we go. Okay, we finally got there. Find the inverse of y equals 2 times 5 to the x. No, you cannot multiply the 2 and the 5. Remember, that was the same thing we talked about on the first one. Very first thing, switch x and y. What do you do now? Divide by 2. So divide by 2, and I get 1/2 to the, or 1/2 x equals 5 to the y. Or I could write that if you wanted, I could write that as 0.5x, it doesn't matter. What undoes 5? So how do I bring that exponent down? Remember from the very first example we had a log. Okay. And a log gave me an exponent. Now I've got an exponent and I want to give, so yeah, so I'm going to take the log of both sides, except for this is going to be the log
5.
base 5, yes. Okay, so I'm going to take the log base 5. Now on the left side, I've got log base 5 of 0.5x. On the right side, the log base 5 and the 5, remember those two match, so they cancel, and that's going to leave me with y. Another way you could write that, log base 5 of 1/2 x equals y. Either way is fine. Okay, so questions? All right, so what you need to do is finish the ones from 1 through 24 that deal with the ln. I need you to add 47 through 54. This is due at the start of the class tomorrow.